You have a paper with my signature on it. You might want to keep a hand on that. It's gonna be worth something.
I used to say that in my 20s.
Damn! Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. How's it going? I hope you're well. We're gonna continue right along with this series about surviving your 20s. Today, I'm just gonna be sharing a few of the clips from an Instagram live I did with one of my good friends, Sarit. Sarit and I went to school together, and she will be turning 40 at the end of September. She had a couple of things to share about how time passes as you get older and how to kind of slow it down a little bit and really enjoy every moment. And honestly, that's advice for after your 20s also. But because your 20s is where it really seems to just start to hit the ground running, she gave us some very good advice on something that she learned that helped her out, and something that honestly I need to do a little bit more. So the Instagram live is just over 20 minutes, but I'm just gonna be sharing with you some bits and pieces about really the main subject that we chose to talk about. I would suggest going to my Instagram if you really do want to see the entire thing. I have it on my IGTV. There's lots of giggles and a couple of good stories and just good stuff. I would recommend go checking it out because there's definitely stuff that I'm not including in this video that I think you can learn from. I really hope you enjoy this video and my good friend Sarit's wisdom, or as she puts it, wisdom. And if you'd like it, please subscribe, please comment, please like and share, and I will see you in the next video. See you then. Sarit, my good friend, who I went to school with, we were in the same program at Concordia in translation. She offered to give some advice. So we're gonna do that today.
Think we should
Hi,
specify that I
Maya.
am, hi, I am well beyond 30. I'm turning 40 at the end of September. I know I don't
I
like
feel
it.
like that's not well beyond.
It's a decade. It's a decade.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
yeah,
That's
but
a
I
long
feel like
time.
it
I
doesn't
mean, it
happen.
falls squarely into what we're talking about today. It's
Right, and I think that's what makes it perfect. I know there's a lot of things that I was told that like I knew was important, but I also understood that I wasn't gonna get it until I got there. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I feel like so I also just spent the last 2 years living with another friend of ours who's
right.
literally half my age. And
She's a baby.
I kept having these moments of realization, like time protracts for her in such a different way. She's just come out of teenagehood and she's, substantially younger than you as well. And we all acknowledge that growing up and in our teens in particular, life seems to take forever. Like every minute is an hour,
It
every
lasts a
hour is a
lifetime.
day. Like it's just, and then you get to your 20s, and in your early 20s, there's a shift that happens. And I think you start feeling time a little bit more quickly. I turned 25. A bunch of really exciting things happened between 25 and 30.
Yeah.
And then 30 happened, and I'm turning 40 next week, and I like really, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that happened in my 30s. I graduated from Concordia with you, and that was a big fat deal. I got married and divorced in my 30s. Like so much happened. I moved to Brazil, came back, like traveled across Canada for the first time in my life. Just a lot of things happened, but I don't know when or how.
Yay.
So we were talking also about the advice that we would get and not listen to before is because a lot of times, especially for me, people who are over 30 or in their 30s typically are people who've had babies
Right.
or are in a family way, one way or another, or are very career driven, career oriented. And time just seems to speed up, especially with
Yeah.
children around.
Right.
And so I had a tendency to not equate my life with theirs. Like if somebody gives me advice coming from a completely different lifestyle situation, I don't tend to be like, okay, that's likely
Right,
to be what my life is going to look like.
right.
You couldn't have told me at 25 that I was going to find myself almost 40 unmarried with no children. I was convinced that I was headed towards that very,
Oh, really?
oh my God, are you kidding for sure?
That's
Just like
so crazy.
the one thing I knew my whole life was that I wanted to be a mom
Oh,
with certainty. And then I went through the mourning period over that somewhere in my 30s. But honestly, the time passage doesn't change just because there are no children.
right. It
You're
stays
just
the same.
marking it differently,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm not being driven crazy by screaming babies everywhere or by having to plan for school and all that kind of stuff. But
But you've got other stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I learned coping mechanisms a while back. It was just to try to make time not slide by so quickly. I think it takes practice, and practice makes perfect. And it's going to sound super cheesy and cliche, but it really is a matter of grounding yourself in presence and awareness. So I had
Yeah.
this friend, an ex-boyfriend of mine. We hadn't seen each other in years, and we knew he lives on the other side of the planet. We knew that potentially we were never going, like, or we weren't going to see each other for a really long time. And we had 9 days together, and we knew, the way that time passed, and we vowed to ourselves the day that he arrived, we're just going to be very intentional about the way that we spend our days. Enough so that every day felt full of
Right.
something. And we took the time to stop and appreciate and sort of, try to stop our minds from going into the countdown of when it was going to be over or the grocery list of what we had to do every day or what life outside of these 9 days looked like. It was a huge massive deal. I think because we had been so conscientious about it, and it ended up impacting our year, our lives overall, our even our relationship, the way that we communicate with each other,
Cool.
a lot. And I've tried to draw that out into my life, generally speaking.
Okay. That makes
Um,
sense.
I feel like that's really the only way.
I
It's like,
know. It's
um, one last piece of advice for people in their 20s.
yes.
Doesn't end when you're in your 30s. It's a
Yes.
constant. When you're in your 30s, you'll want to talk to somebody in their 40s, and after that, talk to somebody in their 50s, and maybe just be open to the advice and don't expect any of it to be fixed because we're all in a constant state of flux.
I don't know if Sarit wants people to follow her. I guess she could vouch for herself, but she's at your handle.
At Saritical. Saritical. I mean, you're welcome to join me on my crazy trying to motivate
Pilates journey.
myself journey. I'm going
Okay.
to expand my repertoire. So, yeah, the more followers, the better, because it's going to encourage me
Cool.
to
Great.
try other
Follow
things.
Sarit. She's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. If you're a word nerd, she is your people. Um, I call myself a word nerd. We're translators, so like yeah,
Yeah.
that's our thing. Feel free to follow me at with Might and Main on Instagram and with Might and Main on YouTube. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, Suri. I'm gonna
Thank you.
thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and end the broadcast,
Okay.
and I will see you in my DMs. Okay, bye.
Bye.